The dry weather strikes again with another wildfire popping up in Sarasota.
Firefighters called to the scene on Tuttle Avenue near 57th Street this afternoon in North Sarasota after a fire burned through a little less than an acre of land. Crews fought through strong winds using water brought to the scene with no hydrants on hand. That fire is now contained and no injuries were reported.
The fire originally started in the ditch on the side of the road and then it quickly escalated. It's so dry, so we're just asking everybody, no outside fires, no lit cigarettes thrown out the window. I mean, we're just asking for your help.
Well, it's a big problem. Our yards are suffering. Many ponds and streams are close to being dried up. Much of central and southwest Florida has been experiencing drought conditions for months now.
The Keach-Byram Drought Index estimates the dryness of the soil and duff layers and represents the number of millimeters of rain needed to saturate the ground. Both Sarasota and Manatee counties are in the mid-600s. That's near the highest end of the spectrum. That puts us at a high risk for wildfires. But there are some things you can do to help protect your home.
$6,000 worth of high-quality hay literally up in flames.
My guys over there started yelling. I looked back and the top had just a small spot burning. By the time I could go 100 yards here back to the barn, the whole thing was engulfed.
Paul Manus takes care of the 1,700-acre Rocky Creek Ranch north of Mayaca City. Recently, all of the hay they had harvested for their summer cattle feed spontaneously combusted, which can happen as the result of a chemical reaction within the haystack.
Started dragging all the other stuff out of the way that was in danger, our trailers and our buggies and tractors, and called my dozer operator and had him come up here and cut some lines, and hopefully we could keep it from going spreading in the pasture any further.
Manus and his team were able to do that before the fire department arrived and finished the job. Without their quick work, in minutes, this hay fire could have turned into a wildfire and spread across the pastures that are extremely dry from months of drought.
Only one time I've seen worse than this, and that was like 7 years ago. This is pretty bad right now. The river's almost completely quit running, and it's pretty bad.
Everything is just extremely dry. We need rain.
Since the beginning of the year, the Suncoast has been at nearly a 9-inch rainfall deficit. That has made for a busy time for wildfire mitigation specialist Patrick Mahoney and the staff at the Florida Forest Service office in Bradenton.
Spread is 46 extreme, fire danger rating is extreme.
I was born and raised here in Manatee County, and I don't remember it being as dry as it is right now. I don't ever remember Manatee County having a burn ban.
Avoiding campfires and trash burns are only a couple things you can do to help prevent wildfires and protect your property.
Pick up stuff around your home. You don't want pine needles as mulch up against your house, because if you look at a pine needle, it looks just like a match, and it burns just like a match.
And so do many palm trees. Check the color of the leaves for signs of stress.
When you start seeing them turn yellow, this is what happens, and an ember lands in that, and what happens is this breaks off and shoots up in the air, travels, lands, starts another fire.
It's all about limiting the amount of flammable vegetation and materials in your home ignition zone. That's the area that extends 100 to 200 feet outside of your house. Mahoney says if you have a wooden fence, put a plastic or ideally a concrete post between it and your home and clear out your gutters and under your porch.
If you've got anything like a deck or stairs or anything that has open underneath, make sure all that's cleaned out. Put wire underneath it to block anything from getting up underneath it.
You can help protect your property by planting fire-wise landscaping. That means avoiding certain plants like saw palmetto and juniper, and instead choosing less flammable plants like lavender, which actually grows really well in drought conditions.
Any debris, anything that's touching your house, get it off your house. And you want to have that defensible space where a brush truck can get in the back of it and defend your home.
All the ranchers are complaining we need rain.
Even taking all possible precautions, Manus knows only Mother Nature can save us from this drought.
So you see our pastures, how brown they are, and the grass, and I mean, everything's so dry, the trees. It's just, hopefully we get some rain soon.
If there is a fire burning near your home, the Florida Forest Service says to turn on your sprinklers to keep your yard as saturated as possible. But if you start to see fire trucks in the area, turn off those sprinklers so you don't drain the firefighters' water supply.
They use a lot more of it than your sprinklers
They do,
will,
right,
yeah.
and they will be able to better get rid of that fire than you would on your own. So accommodate them for sure.
All right, back to Bob now with more on our dry weather out there.
And as he said, he's never seen a burn ban. And I tell you, most of the peninsula under that burn ban right now, no outside burning. You can see most of the state lit up right there as far as that goes. And looks as though this will stay in effect, too, until mid-June. It includes Manatee, Sarasota, Charlotte, and Hardee counties. Hardee and DeSoto have not decided to do that quite yet, but they may be on the verge of doing so because this is an extreme fire danger. The red flag warning continues now, basically east of I-75. And what this means is that this area is not going to get as much of a sea breeze, and the moisture coming in from the Gulf doesn't penetrate that far inland. So if fires were to start here, they would spread rapidly. It's not to say they wouldn't do that near the coast, but they would do a little bit more so inland, away from where that humidity is much lower. And right now, again, that burn ban is in effect, and that fire weather warning is in effect through 8 o'clock tonight. More than likely, it'll be back with us again tomorrow. Currently, it's 86. The dew point is at 64. The humidity at 48%. And we have a brisk wind out of the west-northwest. More on your weekend weather forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. An undercover drug operation takes a deadly drug off the streets. Sarasota County Sheriff's detectives arresting 2 men after a series of drug buys. Michael Sandusky and Michael White are accused of selling carfentanil, a synthetic opioid 10,000 times more potent than morphine. Detectives say the men claimed to be selling heroin when lab tests showed it was actually that carfentanil.
A deadly standoff continues in New Jersey for a second day. Police have been working the scene since Wednesday morning. ABC's Emily Rao has that story.
Police using a bullhorn pleading with the 35-year-old suspect to come out of his house and end the day-old deadly standoff.
Give him a chance to live. You know, we don't want to see him get killed.
Neighbors still hoping for a peaceful ending after a violent start the day before. Many of them heard the gunfire early Wednesday as police attempted to serve a warrant, and Reese allegedly started shooting from inside the house. Officers hid behind cars, but a 56-year-old man standing in the driveway was shot and killed. 3 police officers also hurt but released from the hospital. Negotiations lasted all through the night, using tear gas, knocking down doors at nearby homes, even sending in a robot with a cell phone, an attempt to persuade Reese into surrendering.
Negotiations are ongoing, and in terms of progress, there's not really much to give at this point.
More than a day later, still not much progress as the neighborhood waits with no end in sight.
I urge the residents of our city to stay calm, to continue to give the law enforcement officers and agencies the opportunity to do their job to bring a peaceful resolution to this matter.
Police believe Reese is injured, and they brought in his mother to help with negotiations. Now, we've also learned that he is a sex offender, and the warrant that police were trying to serve has to do with his criminal history. Emily Rao, ABC News, New York.
A proposal to remove a Depression-era wall separating the sale of liquor and groceries is being considered by Governor Scott this week. The heavily lobbied liquor wall measure would repeal a 1934 law that requires liquor stores to be standalone facilities. Retailers such as Walmart and Target have pushed for the repeal, which would allow them to sell hard liquor in their stores. However, owners of small liquor stores are calling on Scott to veto the proposal, fearing it will force them out of business.
Walmart has a competitive edge. They buy in such large quantities that there's no way the person with 2 or 3 liquor stores can compete with them price-wise.
Proponents of the bill say removing the wall will make it more convenient for Floridians to purchase liquor, while opponents say it will allow teenagers easier access to hard liquor. Scott has until May 24th to sign or veto the bill.
The city of Venice is getting some financial help from a local business.
After hearing a new parking lot project was being taken out of next year's budget, Sharkys on the Pier offered to pay for the project and let the city pay them back over 3 years. ABC 7's Christopher Brantley is joining us now with more on that offer. Christopher.
Good evening. Believe it or not, a local business is offering Uncle Sam a loan. and they're kicking in some of their own money to help sweeten the deal.
This is the area that the parking lot would be going in, and just on the other side of the swale is the area that's considered a retention pond.
2 years ago, the city of Venice allocated money to turn this grassy area right next to Sharkys into a parking lot.
It would allow for 98 additional parking spaces, of which several of those could be allocated for RV parking.
But the money was relocated elsewhere, and last week the project fell by the wayside.
The project itself is approximately $440,000.
Of that, Sharkys said they would be responsible for $100,000, and the rest, Sharkys will consider the money alone.
The remainder of that funding, the $340,000, we would just want it paid back from the city as a credit on our rent payment.
Each year, Sharkys pays $100,000 for land rental, plus 5% of revenue over $2.2 million. This year, it totaled to about $700,000. If this project goes through, that is where the money will come from over the next 3 years.
It's not like we even have to search for the funds. All we have to do is adjust what we spend based upon projected revenues.
Mayor John Hollick is delighted, but not surprised.
If any other business came up to us and said that, I'd say it's very unusual.
You may wonder why a private business would be so willing to help Uncle Sam. Well,
if it improves the area, you know, there's going to be more draw, and anytime there's additional draw to the area, we hope to benefit from that.
Of course, the City Council will have to approve this project first, and it should be noted here that Sharkys is not charging the city any interest either. Live in Venice, Christopher Brantley, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Christopher, thank you. May is National Stroke Awareness Month, and tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, we'll show you how one local high school student learned the hard way that anyone can be at risk. Mitchell Sandlin suffered a stroke during his junior baseball season that knocked him back to a kindergarten reading level and caused him to lose part of his vision. According to the American Stroke Association, 11 out of every 100,000 children in the U.S. experience an adolescent stroke each year, and parents are rarely prepared for when it happens.
You could have called me and said he had a heart issue on the baseball field, but last thing was having a stroke. You just don't hear about it.
My quest was to find answers for my son. Why did the stroke happen, and how can we prevent another one?
Tonight we'll hear from the head of the stroke program at Sarasota Memorial Hospital about the warning signs parents can look for in their children before or after a stroke hits. Still to come in your Suncoast News tonight, high school students may be tempted to consume alcohol before they're 21, but could underage drinking actually be on the decline?
The newest CDC report looks into teenage consumption. That's next in Medical Minute.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate or shop at Goodwill,
I am creating a job.
I am Goodwill, yeah.
It's Lincoln's summer sales event here at Alex Karras Lincoln. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKC Sports Utility for $249 per month or 2017 MKZ for $299 per month. We are proud to introduce the newest addition to the Lincoln lineup, the all-new 2017 Lincoln Continental. We have a great selection and ready for immediate delivery. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury, winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Suncoast since 1978. We are located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
What Florida city is best known for spaceflight?
Cape Carnival.
Cape Carnival? Close enough. What condiment includes vinegar, molasses, and anchovies?
Westchester sauce.
Close enough. And now, a word from our sponsors.
One-off from the Florida Lottery. Now available for pick 2, 3, 4, and 5 games. Miss by one on any or all numbers and still win.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help. With Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sunny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Come on in, welcome to our pad. Trust me, folks, you'll eat for a ride. I'm driving, so relax. Unwind, leave your bum hits all behind. Get ready to blow your mind. In Beatsville, don't be shy. Come and make the scene. Catch the crazy party inside. The hipsters here are gone and dig, man, they're on to something big. Yeah, they're gonna flip your wig in Beatsville. Catch the gig in Beatsville.
Some news tonight that may give parents of teenagers a reason to breathe a little easier. With more, here's ABC News senior medical contributor Dr. Timothy Johnson.
Teens and alcohol. It's a dangerous mix and enough to keep many parents up at night. But today, new research out of the CDC shows there is some good news about this problem. The percentage of high schoolers who report drinking within the past month dropped from just over half in 1991 to fewer than 1 in 3 in 2015. Binge drinking in this age group was also down, with fewer than 1 in 5 high school students saying they engaged in this dangerous activity within the past 30 days in 2015. One possible reason for these promising trends, better implementation of state underage drinking policies. Yet the researchers warn too many kids are still drinking alcohol, and considering the risks linked to drinking and binge drinking in this group, it's a problem that still deserves attention. So, the message for parents, don't stop talking to your kids about the dangers of alcohol and binge drinking. It's always a talk worth having. With this Medical Minute, I'm Dr. Timothy Johnson.
Now let's head over to Bob and get a check on our warm but a little bit breezy forecast.
Yeah, a little breezy out there with a wind out of the west-northwest at around 10 to 15 miles an hour, keeping things cooler right near the coastline, so not too bad out there for beachgoers. If you had the opportunity, you were lucky enough not to be working, enjoying the day out there. Big storms around an area of low pressure moving through parts of Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas right now, and even into Kansas. For us, we could use some of that storminess here, not the lightning, but certainly the storminess would be a blessing for us. Current conditions, we have 86 degrees at Sarasota right now with sunshine, and the winds out of the west-northwest at 16, so pretty breezy out there. The pressure falling ever so slightly, but that may be more temperature induced, but the high pressure is getting beat up a little bit with the approaching storm system from the west. The high today, well, it managed to get to 88 again, well above the average of 85, not close to the record though, 4 degrees shy of 92, set back in 2012 only. This morning's low was right at the average, and no rainfall. There's the deficit now at 9.04 inches, so we just went over the 9-inch threshold there for the deficit for the year thus far. Friday's forecast, maybe a little bit more cloudiness around, not much, but still warm. Temperatures into the mid-80s as opposed to the upper 80s to low 90s, so not quite as hot, but temperatures still slightly above average. And as far as the wind flow goes, it will be out of the west-southwest tomorrow. A little bit more southwesterly flow will bring higher humidity values, which will make it feel a little bit warmer there than it has this afternoon. Well, the overall picture is showing this area of low pressure continue to develop and work its way off generally to the east now, and the attendant cold front is slicing down through Texas, where there are numerous weather watches and warnings now. Some bigger cells that you see just east of Dallas and also up into Arkansas now and northern portions of Oklahoma and Kansas border, where the tornado warnings have been issued. Even though there's severe thunderstorm watches, they're separate, 3 separate tornado warnings just north of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Those just came into effect within the last 15 minutes there. So tornadoes out. Actually, this is another one they just issued So an outbreak of tornadoes existing, even though the tornado watch has not been issued for those areas. So it just shows you how volatile things are becoming there. High pressure is keeping things quiet here, but it will move off to the east. That will bring us more of a southwesterly flow out ahead of the actual cold front, which will be slicing through the Gulf on Saturday morning at 4 a.m. Should be in our neck of the woods late Saturday and into Saturday night, bringing with it a chance for a few passing showers again as it makes its way through in the afternoon and evening. Not enough to help things out. We need a storm system basically to bring us about 8 to 10 inches of rain, not all at once, but over a couple of days. That would be really quite nice, and that would be the most beneficial for us here in the 50s and 60s over the Great Lakes and throughout the upper Midwest. Still hot over the deep south. For boaters tomorrow, not much of a wind out there. Seas running 2 feet or less and a light chop, and winds will be out of the southwest at 10 knots, and the water temperature at 81 degrees, taking out the end of the pier there near Sharkys. And as the forecast tides go, low tide upcoming 8:56 and a high tide at 3 o'clock. Another low tide at 7:38 tomorrow. Mostly fair and upper 60s to low 70s, a little bit above average. Tomorrow mostly sunny. A few more clouds around in the afternoon. A high near 84 and southwest winds 10 to 15. The extended forecast calling for a 20% chance for a daytime shower on Saturday. That bumps up to a 30% on Saturday night. It'll be out here by Mother's Day though. Just a few clouds around and mid-80s through Monday. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. Now to Suncoast Traffic Watch. Drivers are seeing some congestion along Fruitville Road, especially near US 41. Delays are also being seen along University Parkway near North Lockwood Ridge Road.
Some good news for those looking to save a few cents at the gas pump. AAA says gas prices have fallen pretty much every day for the last 3 weeks. The national average for a gallon of gas now stands at $2.34. AAA says drivers can thank falling oil prices for the lower pump prices. Crude oil prices have dropped about 11% since early April.
An opportunity for job seekers tomorrow in Sarasota County. The county is looking to fill positions in public works, utilities, and fleet. Sarasota County's Human Resources Department will be holding a job fair tomorrow from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the county's Operations Center on Sarasota Center Boulevard. And entertainment news is coming up next.
There's never been a better time to call California Closets. Now during our Finish Upgrade event, save up to 20% when you upgrade to an Italian-inspired wood grain finish. Contact us for your free design consultation today. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
Daddy! Happy Mother's Day!
Thank you, sweetie.
Happy Mother's Day.
Exceed your mom's expectations this Mother's Day with flowers from Beneva Flowers and Gifts.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Hi, I'm Chef Judy. Every Wednesday morning, I'll be with the chefs at the Publix Aprons Cooking School serving up the most wonderful dishes. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Rose takes her volunteering for Tidewell Hospice very seriously. But she knows how to have fun, too. And that's what she brings when we're invited to visit patients as part of Tidewell's pet therapy program. People love to see her. She really brightens their day. She makes people smile. And in end-of-life care, a smile can be a wonderful gift. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
There's never been a better time to call California Closets. Now during our Finish Upgrade event, save up to 20% when you upgrade to an Italian-inspired wood grain finish. Contact us for your free design consultation today. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
It's not confirmed yet, but there are reports ABC's Scandal is coming to an end. Sorry, Gladiators. The drama starring Kerry Washington was recently renewed for a 7th season, but there is talk about that season being its last. ABC is expected to make a formal announcement about that next week.
Meanwhile, another ABC show is getting more time on the air. Modern Family coming back for 2 more seasons. The comedy series has 5 consecutive Emmy wins, and it is the #2 comedy on television right now, behind CBS's The Big Bang Theory. So one show goes, another stays on.
Right, yeah. So I think maybe we have one more Scandal, but I see why. I'm a big fan of that show, but I see why it's hard to stretch something that intense for so long.
Right.
You know, at some point you got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right.
We'll be right back with more news and your forecast. Stay with us.
There's never been a better time to call California Closets. Now during our Finish Upgrade event, save up to 20% when you upgrade to an Italian-inspired wood grain finish. Contact us for your free design consultation today. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPB.